Hey, Jaleel the Real Deal here, and I'm glad you're joining me for this presentation. So you're going to really enjoy this. I'm sure you've heard me talk a lot about HubSpot and how I've been able to help my clients transform their businesses. So we're going to talk about how we can put your website to work. So check this out. This is not going to be your typical website. Believe me, you're going to be really blown away by what you see here today. Now, all the benefits you've expected, right, but you never had. So responsive design, that's kind of a standard now. But personalization and SEO to keep you relevant is the key. So when we talk about personalization, we're talking about showing a website to women, for example. So if you have women in your database, right, in your HubSpot CRM, we can actually create a more woman-centric website with lighter colors, more women in the actual images on the site. And then we could do the same for men. So imagine, a woman shows up at the website. She sees a bunch of other ladies there in the pictures. I show up at the website and you see a bunch of other men there, right? So between personalization and SEO, it's a great way to keep you relevant. Now, when you have all your intuitive tools all in one place, it allows you to focus on delivering results. And I'm not sure how many of you have actually had to deal with this trauma, but when you have blended systems like that, you've got WordPress connected to this, and then you have a Zapier integration, and when it breaks, you spend more time dealing with the technical instead of actually doing what you're supposed to do, which is drive business, right? Delivering results. Now, you'll also see that, HubSpot offers unparalleled speed, security, and reliability. So that's going to keep you sane, right? You don't have to worry about being on shared hosting and having bad neighbors on your server, as we say in the web industry, right? You don't have to worry about security. You don't have to worry about your open source site being hacked into. And then you can count on it to be reliable, and you'll keep your sanity that way. So with all these intuitive tools all in one place, right, you're going to deliver results. So let's get into this. HubSpot offers inline editing, right, and it's a flexible design center. So as you can see, it looks just like your typical WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get editors, but you have the conveniences of inline editors and template builders and style editors. And when you have an inline builder, you don't need code, right? So how much money have you spent before trying to get a web designer to custom code something, try to make it work on different devices? Instead, you're building on a platform that works no matter what. And the convenience of the template builder actually is great because it has a drag and drop structure to it. But not only that, I think one of my favorite features is my ability to, when I create the perfect page that I like and I need another one, I just duplicate that page and then I substitute out the content on it, making it easy to create those pages. And then finally, the style editor, which, if you do a little code and you're using CSS style sheets on your sophisticated website, then HubSpot can definitely handle that. So it gives you the full funnel marketing and analytics all in one place, right? As you can see here on the screen to your right, you can see that that legend down at the bottom, you can see the breakdown of visitors to the website. So you can also see, how many subscribers visited the website. You can see how many leads, marketing qualified leads, how many opportunities and customers, and you can see the differences between each of those stages. You'll also notice that you can change how that is displayed. So page performance and custom analytics really give you everything that you're going to need here, okay? So when you find out what channels are driving people to your pages, this is one thing that I see a lot with business owners. They say, well, I'm running Google ads and that's good enough for me. Well, if you don't have the data, right, you don't really know where your best traffic is. You don't know where your best money is being spent, and that can be a big problem in your business. So you get to see a breakdown here, and you can diagnose those pages and get instructions on how to improve the SEO on each of those pages so that your visitors and future customers can find you easily online. So custom analytics are great at the enterprise level, which allows you to not only analyze your web pages that are influencing leads, right? But you can actually create some really nice custom reports. I've done that with a client of mine, and they absolutely loved it. I'm going to tell this quick story. It was a lot of fun. I spoke with the owner, one of my clients again, and he had some concerns about people not returning calls, things like that, and he was able to use one of the custom reporting tools in HubSpot to achieve that. So it's a very versatile, very flexible system that will bend and move with you. So you want to go all in with your HubSpot website and accelerate your marketing results. Your customers are going to see, you can see visitors on a rise for about 39% overall, right? You can see a rise in traffic by 70% through your organic search. That's organic search is you're not paying a thing. And of course, you can see landing page submissions, right, increase by 47%. Now, those metrics, they outperform their peers easily. HubSpot outperforms the peers by 10 to 20%, no sweat. So let's dive a little bit deeper into the responsive design, personalization, and SEO. And all of this is going to keep you really relevant. So some of these recommendations, these SEO recommendations, allow you to make changes on the fly. Now, in the past, you had to rely on maybe your web designer, or maybe you had to hire an outside SEO expert to analyze your pages and tell you what you need to do. Well, HubSpot is that analyst. HubSpot is that contractor, is that company that does that for you. So we're going to talk a little bit about the native SEO. We're going to talk about as you type advice, and we're also going to dive a little bit into analyzing SEO. So you'll notice that there are a myriad of plugins out there for SEO, and if you've ever used some of the CMSs out there before, you'll notice you have to download a third-party plugin to make it work, and that can be a little bit of a headache, right? You have to pay separately for it. It may or may not work great, but with HubSpot's SEO, this is absolutely 100% integrated and built in to work for you. So you also have as you type advice, right? So as you're creating blog posts, landing pages, websites, HubSpot always gives you advice as you're typing and says, HubSpot will tell you, hey, use this word instead of that word. Right, so you're always in tune with what you need to do. You're not leaning on an expert. You're not relying on somebody you hired from a freelance site online to tell you what you should do next. HubSpot is there for you. And lastly, you'll be able to analyze your SEO, right? So a lot of people, they can't answer that question. Where does your traffic come from? What are the keywords that people are typing in to find you? Well, those days are behind you. HubSpot does this for you. Now, your website is going to look great on any device, right? And it's optimized for Google mobile search. No additional code needed. And you can preview, as you're building your site, you can preview your content on any device in any orientation, and it'll look great. So, let's talk about your visitors, right? Again, we talked a little bit earlier about personalization, right? And that your visitors are not one size fits all, right? You've got to personalize. And we're going to talk about how you can personalize by location, by source, by device. And we're also going to talk about how you can personalize by life cycle, by the industries, and how you can conduct A/B split tests. So by personalizing your content, the moment someone steps on your website, right, you'll be able to tailor not only the design, right, but you can also tailor the content based on where they're located. You can do that by their referral source, right? So if they came from Facebook or Twitter, you can actually personalize to that, or even by device, right? So if you have an iPhone user or an Android user, you can personalize based on that. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about personalizing using lifecycle and industry. So when someone is personalized by lifecycle, you have visitors who become leads, who become marketing qualified and sales qualified, and they go on and on and on, right? Why would you want to share the same information with people as they're moving through these life cycles, right? Why would you show them the same information? Wouldn't you want to show them something that is relevant to where they are in the buying cycle? So HubSpot allows you to do that. You could create different homepage messages for different industries or the personas that you're going to create in your HubSpot portal. And then last, conducting A/B split tests are amazing because now you can test which split test gets you more conversions, more new leads, and more new customers, right? That's really important. You can be testing and optimizing all the time, always getting better, always improving. Now, take a look at this. Personalization can mean adapting that, certain parts of your site or completely changing that. So you can see the image on the right-hand side, right? You can see that call to action button kind of differs. So the one in the background kind of has a picture of an ebook. However, you can also personalize that. So you can see the top one, which is the same, right, actually has a different image on it. So 2014 Intuit saw click-through rates above 10% on personalized CTAs, and click to submission buttons really were at a rate close to 100%, which is unbelievable. So take a look. HubSpot uses smart forms, and these smart forms can increase lead generation. So think about it. If you look at the image at the bottom left, you see the desktop version of that form. Not the desktop version. It's more likely that someone will convert using that form because they're already at their desktop and it's okay. They've got their keyboard there. But it's a little bit harder to do on mobile, right? You're typing with your thumbs. If you got 10 form fields, that's just ridiculous to deal with. Most people will just go away before they fill that out. So you'll notice that the mobile side, because we're using smart forms, that mobile form is a lot shorter. And that is going to lead to a higher conversion rate on mobile. Okay? So, a lot of us marketers are seeing a high ROI from personalization, and I can't express this enough. Okay? Personalization is the key. Now, calls to actions that you have on your website, like you can see above, kind of on your right there, you'll see that you'll see two variations, right? And you can see the arrow for strangers pointing down, and it says, hello, say hello to the new HubSpot. But you can see for somebody who's in the customer lifecycle stage, you can see that it's personalized, and it says, hi, Jane, welcome back. Now, that is really interesting. That is a high ROI. I mean, imagine how good your customer is going to feel to see their own name on your website, to know that you've taken the time to personalize and that they're not going to see the same thing that they saw before they became your customer. It shows that you really care. It shows that you're really on top of things, and it's just going to result in a 42% higher view to submission rate. So there's a lot there in personalization. Now we're going to move on to speed, security, and reliability, right? If you've ever dealt with a CMS and it got hacked into because it was open source, wow. Let's get into it right here. So when we're doing a comparison side by side, as you can see, HubSpot has a security team that's on alert 24/7. And in the last year, HubSpot's been able to achieve a 99.99% uptime and defended against numerous attacks and keeping lots and lots of customer sites safe. Now, I don't want to put anybody down. I was a WordPress guy myself in 2006. But WordPress alone, it's an open source CMS. It's an open source system for websites. And WordPress alone does not offer strong security, and it faces a high volume of attacks. So when I did WordPress development years back, I often would have to work with my clients to take care of malware, take care of what was called at one point the WordPress white screen of death. You go to your computer, you load your website, and all you see is a white screen. And if you're anything like I was when it happened, you're mortified. So you can see in 2015, a lot of WordPress users and WordFence security plugin users saw a total of over 16,000 attacks per minute. Let that soak in, per minute. So that's easily a no-brainer there. Now, the HubSpot COS is one of the fastest content platforms. If you look to your left, you can see the load times are definitely much lower than your, Adobe, your Drupal, your Joomla, WordPress, and we're talking about WordPress VIP. That's the paid version. So those sites, they're absolutely much slower in loading. I mean, you can see between HubSpot and WordPress, I mean, it's double the load time. And you can see website speed performance, right? You see your average there and HubSpot in orange. Again, it's probably twice as fast as your web average. So you want to increase the speed of your website, and that's going to increase your ROI. 1 in 4 people are going to abandon a website if it takes longer than 4 seconds to load. That means they're getting anxious and they're going to say, you know what, something's probably wrong here. I'm just going to take off. And you can see from the chart right here, HubSpot loads in under 3 seconds, on average, and 3.5 seconds. But still, you can see, your web average is way above 4 seconds. And that's going to be a serious problem because 1 in 4 people going away. That's very significant when 25% of your web visitors go away because your website is too slow. That will affect your bottom line. So a lot of people ask me too, why not just use WordPress instead? And, couldn't I just build a HubSpot website on WordPress? Well, take a look at everything it takes, right? You have to have WordPress. That's free. It's open source. Google Analytics is free. Your broken link checker, you have to have a plugin for that. You need a mobile suite, right? You need to make your website mobile responsive, or at the least, you need to buy a theme that does that. You need smarter forms, so then you'll have to pay for Gravity Forms. SEO, you'll have to purchase Yoast. WordPress Marketing Suite and, Max Buttons. I mean, look at all these plugins, XML sitemaps to give to Google. You have Akismet, right? That is for, security measures, your capture forms, making sure that robots aren't signing up on your website. And then you need a secure certificate. You need a login, lockdown. You're going to have to host on somewhere like WordPress, WP Engine, right, which is manage WordPress hosting, which kind of gives you that one-click backup, and they provide all the security for you. So, yeah, you could, right, if you're looking at this, you could, in fact, build your own website using WordPress, but that's a lot of work, right? That's a lot, and it's going to add up eventually, right? It's going to add up, especially if you have look at that. You have a huge site on WP Engine. Well, you're looking at, almost $250 a month. That's on the high end. So the true cost of trying to patch everything together, it's huge, right? And it's very, very frustrating. And you don't need that frustration, do you? I mean, you just want to run your business. You don't have time for all of that. And people still say, but doesn't WordPress have a big open source community behind it? And the answer is, decently so, I guess, right? So the HubSpot COS has a driven response team dedicated to development. So my personal preference is always to have a phone number I can call, live chat. I'm not really an email guy when it comes to support and something is going wrong. But when you have a dedicated team, working behind your COS, working behind your platform, you don't have to worry about any of that, right? So over 1,600 fixes and enhancements have been done in the last 2 years. If you look at that, I mean, come on. How much time and money would it take you to do all of that? So I want you to think about that for a moment. Now, our HubSpot team, actively solicits ideas, and an engaged designer and developer community exists for support. So, yeah, you could do that, right? You could you could go to a WordPress community, and you can definitely get some help. Don't get me wrong, okay? That is perfectly fine, But I can tell you, the HubSpot designer communities are fantastic. I never have to wait very long to get an answer, and there's always somebody who's encountered what I've encountered, and they come back to me with an answer. So that's really important. And you can see customers are building beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous websites using HubSpot. And even the HubSpot marketplace has some templates that you can buy. You can see that on your right. I mean, you could, if you have the capacity, you have the budget. Sure, you want to design your own website. You want to make it beautiful. You want to make it work. But if you don't have that kind of time, and you do have the money to invest in a template, you can see on your right, the HubSpot marketplace has tons of beautiful website templates, saving you time. Now all you have to do is focus on the content. So it's really good. You pay a one-time fee for that. You can buy a pack that would include your website and matching landing pages. We've had some great, wonderful, and talented designers in the HubSpot community. So this goes a little bit back though, but look at this, the G2 Web Content Management Leader, right? I mean, this is an award-winning platform, and it seems great for marketers, but what if you're a developer? And even developers really love the HubSpot COS because it's flexible. It gives you the autonomy and the flexibility to do what you want to do. And one of my favorites, the velocity, right? It allows you to work at your best and just really accelerating development as much as you possibly can. Plus, you have a reliable platform to build on, and you don't have to worry about it. You've got a dedicated team behind you, and you don't have to look behind. You don't have to look back at all. Now, let's see what some of the other developers out here have to say. Oh, there's Aaron at Here Creative, right here in Houston, Texas. Nice. Aaron says, clients can fulfill minor demands without having to impose on developers, who can in turn dedicate more time on major site development and more complicated site issues. So as a business owner, I mean, if you really want to continue development of your website, you don't even have to worry about that, right? You can just make certain changes on your own. You don't have to always go back to your developer. You can go ahead and do that while they work on continually growing your site. All right, and you'll see here there are lots and lots of comments here. We're not going to go through all of those right now for the sake of time. However, there are lots and lots of development that's working on the in-app Hubble language, the HubSpot markup language. So it's a different development language. However, the HubSpot Academy covers that. And if you're a developer, you could just go in there. I'm sure you'll breeze right through that course. I did, and I'm an old school web developer from back in the 90s. So it was fairly easy for me to pick up, and I'm pretty sure you could pick it up too. So it's good, and there are always things coming. HubSpot is constantly developing. So I want you to try the HubSpot website for free for 14 days. I am sure that you're going to love it. And then if I'm wrong in this instance, it's okay. It's a free trial. It won't hurt, but it's a great opportunity for you to get a peek under the hood and see if this is a great fit for you. All right, so that is where it's at. And thank you so much. I look forward to hearing from you. If you want to hear some more, go ahead and reach out to me. My number is 832-706-0711, and one of our team members will happily get you set up to try out the HubSpot website for free. All right, sounds great. I can't wait to hear from you. Can't wait to hear about the positive results that you're going to get. And I will talk to you soon.